welcome. This is Kevin, also known as AWOL. And today we have a really interesting bracelet. This one was pattern 64168, and we did change it kind of a bunch. Um, Basically, the original pattern was all the outside whatevers all came from one direction. We took it so that way it would change in the middle. Arguably, the way they had it, where it was all one direction, would be a whole lot easier. And we'll kind of show a bit of that kind of as we go along. But yeah, the whole change up thing really kind of threw it. So I went with this really, it's like a real, almost blackish brown is the color that, the first row that went in. The next one is a variegated that goes through a whole series of colors. It's got red, blue, yellow, kind of a, like as it's going from the yellow to blue, it kind of does a little bit of a greenish thing in there, but I mean, it's really not a whole lot of that. And then for the colors on the outside, it's a variegated pink to white or white to pink, whichever. And the other one is sort of a red and a brown. And that's why I chose the brown color as opposed to a black, was I thought that there might be something about kind of connecting those two to kind of make it kind of interesting. I don't have a ton of variegated floss, and I was just trying to work out with the wife last night, like, where did the variegated floss come from? Because like there's the colors and stuff are a bit weird. I would like to try some stuff with some other colors, some other variations and things. But we can't seem to find where that originally even came from. So I'm going to use up what I have, and then we're going to get some more. And who knows? I mean, I kind of enjoy. If you like seeing the variegated getting used in a pattern and want to see more of that to be inspired, please let me know, because the more I hear from you, right, the more you, if you let me know this is something you're interested in, you want to see how that can happen or what can look nice, the more I'll buy. Bottom line, right? I have to make the purchases if we're going to make this happen. So let me know if that's a thing, because I think it's kind of fun. And I know that there's not, especially in my repertoire, there's been not a lot of examples of having variegated floss. So, yeah, kind of adding to the whole thing, kind of make it fun, kind of looking for the patterns that will work with it. And like I said in the making of the pattern for this, right? I talked about the fact that because those outside lines don't cross over each other, makes it really, really good for something with like a variegated floss. Because when it crosses over, if the two colors don't match, it sort of spoils the effect. But this one kind of is perfect for that, right? And so, yeah, I went kind of crazy with all of the colors. And I gotta admit, like overall, it gave it a almost cartoonish, like that pow, like from, I don't know, like, I don't know what cartoons do that anymore. I guess back in the day it would have been like Batman or something, but it's it's got that sort of comic book-ish look, especially because too the colors, like the pink and stuff, is sort of keeps changing a little bit, so it's sort of like that kind of weird graphic look. Like it's not, they're not solid colors. Um, yeah, like you can see on that one, like there was like more pink on one and more white on the other, or the last one, it was some red and some brown. So yeah, it really kind of gives it that comic book effect. So as I'm working this down, I'm using my pattern not because I needed to know what happens next, but because I was, trying to just kind of measure where I was in the thing. Um, and I just counted how many zigzags there was. I could have probably have skipped all that. but I was kind of coming down with it nice and slow and whatever. And because it's so repetitive, that sort of almost became a problem. Like, wait, am I at this one or this one? And whatever. And there, you might even see in the video a couple times of lifting up the clip and kind of like, okay, wait, where am I? Kind of thing, right? That was that's the only difficult part about this bracelet. Granted, you still have zigzag knots going on with the color ones and the ones going through the middle, but that was the only difficult part, was kind of keeping track of where I was, so that way when the middle came, it would be a thing. And that's what I was saying. If there wasn't the middle reversing it and making the outside ones go the other direction, this would have been a whole lot simpler. You would just do it until you felt like it was long enough to be a bracelet. The other thing I can say about this for sure is that the ones through the middle get used up an awful lot. They, in fact, so I have the bracelet in my hand. Notice one tassel is really kind of shorter than the other. Realistically, I could still wear this as a bracelet and be able to tie it if both tassels were that length. But I like to make my tassels longer in case somebody wants to put it as an anklet, or maybe they just have really big wrists or something. So that kind of felt like a problem-ish. Mind you, they can put the longer one through and then tie it. It'll work just fine. But typically I like it to where it's not like this. Why did this get used so much more than like normally when I normally cut my strings? I don't know. Because normally when I cut in thirds, I can pretty much get through any pattern without a problem. This one just, I don't know. It just really used them a lot. So just kind of keep that in mind. I mean, if you're really particular about such things, um, maybe you could start it out where the outer colors kind of cover it up for a minute, and then it suddenly happens. Yeah, see, there was a jump there. That was me checking to see where we were. Um, yeah. Anyways, yeah, you could start it out where maybe the colorful thing in the middle or whatever doesn't start at the very beginning, and then it's not quite at the end either. It's a potential. It would change it up and make your strings reach all the way to the end. If you need that for a pattern, let me know. I can probably redo the video and make a different version of this, because again, it was super easy. This took me about an hour, a little, just slightly more than an hour to make. So the speed here is not as quick as some of the other videos, because again, it just didn't take as long to put this together. So um yeah, overall I have to say I did enjoy myself making this. You know, it's it's an easy pattern. It looks really cool. I mean, I keep looking down because I have it in my hand. It looks really cool. Um, and like I said, it's got like a comic, right? Like, can you just, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I think it has that sort of a vibe to it. So I think it's fun. What else can I tell you? Yeah, if you're just kind of getting into doing the zigzag knots and you don't want to have to be like too over the top with them like all the time, like some of the bracelets where it's just, you know, whatever, this would be a good one, because you only have it just like, at those corners. It's nice and gradual. Everything else is just going to the right or to the left. Makes that super easy on the outside part. And then yeah, you can kind of end it whenever you feel like that. Okay, so did you see that? I actually reversed the the reds and the pink one there, because I wanted the colors to stay the same, because they could have changed if I'd used the ones coming from the other direction, because that's the center of it. So at this point, you'll see like before, right? I was just letting them all come inwards. Now they're all going to go back outwards. Um, so again, putting that center into it definitely makes this more of a challenge. Because you have to make sure that you do it at the right time. Otherwise, the bracelet will look really kind of weird if it's not in the middle. Just is what it is. Oh, wait, we are passing the middle. These end abruptly, so if I don't do this now, I'm going to forget it. So I need to thank my Patreon supporters as well as my YouTube members for making this possible. I need to buy Floss. They help make that happen. So thank you very much, guys. I really do appreciate everything you guys do for me. It makes all this stuff possible, and I love doing this. I I can't imagine what else I would do. Like what, play video games or something? Like I'm not. May have been good when I was younger and had quick reflexes. I'm probably not that good anymore. So what else would I do? I don't know. So just keeping doing what I love is is definitely my goal, and hopefully you guys like it too. I mean, realistically, I do it for you. So hopefully you guys are enjoying this and getting something out of it and getting a chance to see how this all comes together. Mind you, okay, you know my I've said this so many times about the repetition and how it makes it feel like it goes so long. One of the things I noticed in this, despite the fact that there is a lot of repetition, is that the variegated floss is sort of fun because it's ever changing, and there's this whole like wanting to see what is it going to do next, and that was kind of nice, and it kind of took away from the monotony of a pattern that just keeps doing the same thing. So now at this point here, instead of scrolling the pattern, I realized the easier thing was because I zoom in, like I zoom in ridiculously to the pattern so I can see what's going on. Realized I don't have any need for that. I know exactly what it's doing. It's doing the same thing. So I zoomed out so I could see it, and I saw that there were 4 of the things coming down over on the right hand side. So at this point, we're working on the second one. And then I realized, well, this is a whole lot easier. I don't have to keep trying to fuss with which one is which because they all look alike. So yeah, that was how I did this. And this is just a 12 string pattern, right? So this is nice and small. It's kind of the size, like honestly, like when I go to like touristy places, these are the kind of the size of the bracelets you tend to see. Look at, see, doesn't that look really kind of cool? Really like this bracelet. I know I say that about all my bracelets. I can't help it. I I like what I do. I like what I make. Sometimes I really like what I make, and this might be one of those times. Like this really came out really well. So, and because I'm kind of disappointed about the tassel bit, I'm probably not going to throw it into the shop. I'll probably just give it to somebody that says they really want it. So that's that's the thing. Mind you, I need to hold on to it for the rest of the month so that way I can do the month review. So it won't be right away that I give it away, and I'm not sure if I'll turn it into something from the live streams or something. I don't know. I'll come up with something, but yeah, it's cool. I would wear the heck out of this personally. Even pinks and reds and all, I don't care. It looks really cool. Okay, so that's what, 3 things down. So we're getting towards the end here. It's, it's on its way. At some point, as the strings were getting shorter, I would get faster. But at some point, it started getting to where the strings were getting so short I get slower again because it's harder to go. Oh, you see that? I was counting how many things down. They get so short that it starts to become troublesome. Mind you, the ones on the outside, the pinks and the reds, they came out fine. They were super long. There was absolutely nothing going on with them. Um, it's just these three that run down the middle, and I knew this going into the pattern making. Like these just keep getting used. They are going to get short. Um, but yeah, for whatever it's worth, they got kind of short faster than I wanted. Yeah, so there's going into that last part. And so you can kind of see, like you can see the ends of that brown as I'm doing it, right? It's that short. They're just it's yeah. I was definitely stressed at this point, and I still have a little bit to come back the other direction, right? I mean, yeah, it is what it is, though. And like I said, it's long enough to tie onto average wrist. It's just in case you wanted an anklet or whatever. So here we go. The big reveal is coming up. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Leave me a comment, do all that kind of good stuff. And yeah, as always, don't get your strings in a bunch.